right. Hey, everybody, this is ER Wolf with LFI, and this is Tech Tuesday. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining this call. We're going to be going through all things how-to in the technology side of things. If you do have questions, please feel free to throw those in the chat here or put those, raise your hand with the reactions. Again, our goal with Tech Tuesday is to help you on the how-to leverage any aspect of the technology, whether that's tap, whether that's shuffle, etc., so that you can get the most out of the tools that you have at your disposal. So last week, as a brief recap, we did go through how do you introduce yourself was the big theme and the big topic. And we're sort of going to continue on along the lines of that. If you joined us last week, you saw we went through a how-to on how to create our simple business card. Again, this is something that anybody can have for free, but even if you're on a premium solution, you might want to create a simple business card using this template. The process took us, I think last week's training was 2 or 3 minutes to go through and create this digital business card. And again, I'd recommend everybody have this just as a good example of what you can do with a digital business card. We then expanded that with more of our desktop builder. We built or talked briefly about building a more premium digital business card. Again, you're going to see the similar elements on these things, right? Images, who I am, what I do, how to connect with me, how to contact me, outbound web links, embedded videos, and even on this free one, the lead capture form so that you can prospect. Likewise on this, I would use campaigns if I wanted to add the lead capture form, but similar images, contact information, buttons, videos. We just have more flexibility beyond that simple business card template. So one of the things that I would love to cover today, assuming there aren't a lot of questions, we're going to open this up for questions here in just a second, is once I have something I've built that's worth sharing, let's talk about sharing it, because it's not going to do us any good. It's not going to serve us in our cause if people don't see it, if we don't get it out in front of them. So that's one thing that I would love to cover a little bit today. But before we get started, anybody on the call live who has a question or anything like that on how to with the tech, please go ahead and raise your hand. Ruben, I saw yours go up, so go ahead, my friend. Oh, it looks like you're muted.
Okay, before we get into that, there's some challenges that are coming up, and it's a good challenge. We're getting new subscribers. They're finally going to take action, and I've set up meetings with them. And guess what, guys? I went over the affiliate program with them.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they think they signed up with LFI, and they don't know whether they signed up for the wallet. Mm-hmm. So I got to create a card that goes 1, 2, 3, because our system, the way it is now, and I'll be very honest, it's all over the place. I created a card that showed the video, which is a really neat video. It's a cartoon type thing. Yep. And then it says, if you're interested in being an affiliate, click there. But it takes you somewhere. And it's not specific to what they do. And all of a sudden, they're in some kind of zone where they have to fill out forms and all that. So I'm thinking of creating a button that says, number 1, this, number 2, this. So give me some ideas on how to do that, because
let's walk through the process, because again, I know there's some separation there as you identified, Ruben, and that's by design. Obviously, we do not expect here at LFI, everybody who uses the technology is going to be an affiliate or an ambassador. So that's where the reason behind there is some separation in that. But if they do want to go out and help us spread the word on this stuff, Ruben, really quickly, the steps are going to be like this. And I'm going to do them very high level, because it's a 2-pronged approach. The first prong is they're going to affiliate.lfi.com. I'm highlighting the URL right now, and I'll even put that in the chat on our Zoom so that you can add that link to your card. But to your point, Ruben, I would add that with some additional context, because they're going to go to this place, affiliate.lfi.com, and they're going to log in using their same Shuffle ID, their same email address and password. When they log in for the first time, that's when they're getting prompted with this form, become an affiliate. So if they want to earn by spreading the word about LFI, they will need to activate their affiliate status. Again, can't be more clear on this. The expectation is not everybody who uses Shuffle or who uses Tap is expected to be an affiliate or an ambassador of the product. So there is going to be defined separation, and that's by design. When they come in to become an affiliate, they'll need to add their first name and their last name. And the key to the context that you're putting in your steps, Ruben, that you send to people is make sure it matches the name, birthday as it's stated on your government issued ID, because this is the information we share over to the e-wallet, and they are a third-party e-wallet provider. Once somebody has filled out this information, name, email, and it scrolls birth date, and they agree to the terms of service, they're going to click become an affiliate. So that's the step one, is become an affiliate. Then the step two for you, Ruben, is to set up your e-wallet or complete the setup of your e-wallet account. And the moment I click become an affiliate, you'll actually see a banner come across the background here. I'm not going to click become an affiliate, but in the background, just below where it says dashboard, network, coins, help, a banner reveals itself that says, go to your e-wallet to complete the setup. So they don't have to wait for any type of email. E-wallet will send them an email with the same directions, but when they click on that, it's going to take them to their e-wallet, and there will be additional direction, a video and a form for them to fill out. But we don't have any control over that. So I can try and get some screenshots for you if you think that would be beneficial, maybe even a video of that e-wallet setup. But again, I don't want to go through the whole step by step because I can't submit fake information. That's what they're using to validate the ID. That's what they do to validate the ID. So I can show that page, and really what it looks like is it's a video that shows their process and a form behind it that says, put in all your information, do your W-9, fill out your EIN if you're doing this underneath a business, so that they can validate your identification. They just do identification validation. That's the second step. So first step, become an affiliate. Second step, complete the setup of your e-wallet. The third step is pretty simple. Start sharing and generating your referrals, and then you load your referrals into your e-wallet to cash out. So I hope that helps. Ruben, if we want as well, please reach out to me and we can find some time and I can go through it with you, and we can maybe even make some of those recordings for your card. Okay? And for anybody else on that, but that's the big thing, is there's two steps in this. You become an affiliate on our system, whether you're an ambassador or an affiliate, and then you go complete the setup of your e-wallet account. We don't do it all at one time because there are some people who will raise their hand and say, I'm an affiliate, and then they'll set up their e-wallet and then they'll never make any referrals. So our system looks to see if you've made any referrals in a 90-day period from becoming an affiliate. And if you do, we tag you as active. And if we don't, we'll revert you back to just being a customer. We don't want to have a disproportionate ratio of customers to affiliates. We want just active affiliates identified as our affiliates, if that makes sense. The e-wallet is going to be third party. Just make sure you take an opportunity to follow their direction and their guidance. And Ruben, to my earlier statement, we'll try and go through and at least give people a roadmap to follow on that, and hopefully that will help. But the key is there's going to be a banner after they become an affiliate that will link them to their e-wallet. So there's an easy path to get over to that e-wallet area to complete the setup or to get to it in the future. All right. Any other general questions, how-to questions, etc.? Yes, Anna, go ahead.
I would just like to be able to go over when you first show someone the back office, how do you, in what order should you be showing them things? Should you show them the whole thing first and then go back and create a card?
I had this question come up the other day. When I sign up for Shuffle, what are my big first three things I need to do? And the first three things I would recommend, and I'm going to go back and share screen and we'll jump straight into Shuffle.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to call out some things here because we're in our demo account. If you come in as a new user, these cards that you're seeing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm scrolling down the page, they won't exist. And the count would say like 1 of 10 or 0 of 10 on there. And so, Anna, the first thing that I always recommend is build the card. You don't need to know our entire system to build a card.
Okay.
So it's typically, that's why it opens straight up into cards. You might not ever collect another person's card in your card index, okay? So it doesn't have immediate relevancy to the user. A lot of the users, it's, I want something to promote myself. How quickly can I get that created and start sharing? Well, the first thing to start, in order to start sharing something you've created, is you have to create something. And that's why we went through last week and we talked about 2 example cards that are very easy to create. And that's why I always lean on the first thing to create is a digital business card. Introduce yourself in some way or another. You can do it with that simple business card template, or you can do it with the more advanced builder. And that's just depending on the client that you're talking with, Anna, right?
Right.
So if you're in the application, I always either come up, Kathy likes to go to this create button at the top. And when you click create, the first option is card. The second option is contact. If you are in your card section, and again, my screen is pretty wide. I'm going to crunch my screen down here. I'm on a bigger screen here. So hopefully this will fit on more of your guys' screens. There's a little plus sign down here when you're on the card section. That's typically where I go to create cards, but it's personal preference. Come up to create and select card, or just hit the green plus sign to create a new card. And then the simple card builder is under mobile. So if your goal is to just get something done quickly so that they can start sharing, typically the mobile card builder and the free card template right here, the first one that comes up is the simple path. Is the simple flow. And I'll walk through that where they click on it, and then you just go through filling out the form. What's your colors? Okay, let's change the color. Okay, let's go through and enter in your info. We'll bring your profile information to start. And that's half the battle. Now we're just going through the form and saying, oh, did you have a text number as well? Same as your phone number? Okay, I'll copy that and paste it here. You know, oh, you don't want Twitter on your card. Okay, we'll get rid of that, but you have Skype. We'll put that in. I'm just going to put some gobbledygook in here. And as they scroll, they can see how their card is being built out. Oh, you don't have a link or a button you want to put on there? You know, okay, you just get rid of your button and it goes away. Oh, you don't need the lead capture form. You scroll on there, you remove the lead capture form. So again, whatever you're filling out, that's the process. The goal is to get to this here, save the card, and now I've got a new card to start sharing. If they come in with their free account right now, it will automatically build that first card. So when they get here, they don't have 0 cards, they have 1 card. But if they're a premium account holder, they have the ability to build the mobiles and the desktop. We don't automatically build their cards, but we're considering adding that as well so that people come in and they already have a card to start working with. So Anna, that's the number one thing I tell to all people is create something first and foremost. You know, we just created this card. So if we previewed it, this is literally the card we created. Great. Now I have something to share. The next big thing I tell people is share it. And that opens up a can of questions, if you will, that I ask that person. How important is tracking to you when you share? If they say it's very important, then I'll go into, okay, are you sharing it to a contact or are you sharing it to an audience of people? Because we can track both. If tracking is less important, they could just grab the card link and start sharing that out any way they share a link. Also, I'll ask, again, I ask a lot of questions when I'm working with people because I want to know what their scenarios are and what their situation is. Same thing I would ask you to ask yourself when you're out there sharing. Are you sharing online? Are you sharing in person? Or are you doing both, right? If you share online, then the most important thing is going to be your hyperlink. So when I come to share a card online, like my free business card here, I might use the campaigns in order to generate a hyperlink, you know, for tracking online sharing. And then I have a hyperlink that I can use. So if you're online, this is probably the most important little piece, hyperlinks. And you're just copying them and pasting them. And if you want the trackability, you're using campaigns to do it. Otherwise, you can see how short this little hyperlink is up here in my URL. So those are some of the questions I asked that helps identify what route to go on. Because if tracking isn't important, I don't want to confuse them with trying to understand the difference between a personal trackable link to an individual. Like I'm going to send a card to Anna and I want to know that Anna opened it up. Or I'm going to send a card to our Facebook group and I want to measure how many people in the Facebook group opened it up. If they just say, nope, not worried about that, I just want people to see my card, then I'll say, great, the fastest way to do that, preview your card, grab the link and share that. Just be aware that it doesn't include tracking. You know, likewise, if tracking is super important to them, this is their tracking for online sharing. You know, maybe they want to, again, come back in, create another campaign for
Email.
tap sharing, yeah, or email. You know, now they're starting to segment out how they want to track. But if that's not important to them, then you don't confuse the mind by putting it on. I think it's important, wildly important, but not everybody is in the same boat as me, or they're not there yet. Eventually, most people come around and they're like, oh, I've been sharing out the same card and I'm watching my view counts grow on these cards. And then all of a sudden, like, I've sent it out 51 times, I've got 254 views, but I really don't know of the places I've shared it out, what's having the biggest impact. And that's where tracking comes in, right? We always say whatever gets measured gets managed. If you're not measuring the traffic that's coming to the card that you built, you cannot manage effectively how you might be using that card. But some people, again, they're not at that level yet. They just want something to share. So get them their card and then show them how to share in their preferred path. Are you sharing offline? Great. I can show you how to assign it to a tap card or print out a QR code for that card. So again, we came up, we created a QR code under the campaign, and it was our tracking for online sharing. And there you go. If we did one for offline sharing, you know, event sharing, maybe I'd be saving the image of my QR code and using that. So that's the other thing. And then the third thing I typically say is, again, it comes back to measurability. Bring in a contact and share with that contact and start creating the relationship with those people. Because the other big gap I see for people, and we talk about marketing, right? That's the content we create, digital business card, landing page, product brochure, whatever it is that you're going to put on a card, that's marketing. Then we talk about networking and referring. Both of those two components are heavy on the relationship side. And if you don't have good relationship management in place in the first place, then we want to give you a path to follow to adopt good relationship management practices. So those would be the big three for me: build, share, and then maybe a contact. And once you have a contact, you can say, oh, I want to share that card with a contact. And I think that's part of the trackability thing that creates the aha moment for most users, where they say, oh, I'm not just getting an alert that my card got viewed. I see that Brenda just viewed my card, that James just viewed my card. I've got that type of stuff. And there's a lot of power. That's a big differentiator for us, because we're probably one of the only platforms that can allow you to track down to the individual that you're sharing it with, because we allow for an unlimited number of links that point to the card. But if you can't visualize that concept, because it's foreign, because most pages have one link, right? Go to www.me.com, it's one link. For us, we do the reverse approach. One page, all these sources of eyeballs coming in, we want to measure the source, which means individual links. Hopefully that answers the question, Anna. Any follow-up on that?
Not on that particular note. No.
Okay.
I'll let somebody else have some space here.
Yeah, if there are any other questions, raise your hand in the reactions, put it in the chat, unmute yourself and join the conversation. I want to do a quick little extension on what we were just talking about, Anna, because this was part of what I was saying. Last week, we covered building something. Build a free template card on mobile, build a more complex one, move things around. But at the end of the day, build what you envision, because that's what's going to support you. And then think about how you're sharing. When I ask the question, are you going to be sharing offline? That always, if they say yes, it always leads me to, the fastest way to share when you're offline. And so I'll always bring up the tap with that. And we were with James yesterday, and it was, I mean, a lot of tap focus, you know what I mean? Where we were in a room, it was, to be honest, if I'm confessing here, it was the first in real life event I did since October of last year. But when you're there, the first thing that I'm thinking is, I've got my tap card. I've already got it written to my business card. And when I'm in this event with other people, I'm going to be prepared to tap their device. So
when you get to that point, ER, and you're tapping their device, what is it that you say to them about downloading the Shuffle app? How do you get them to not go directly to their phone?
Yep. So again, it goes back, and it's always based on personalization. That's the best way to put it. Every individual that we interact with is a person. So we want to personalize to that person as much as we can. So I've tapped my information on your mobile device. So they've got their mobile device up. I bring the card over, I tap it, the link just pops up, and I tell them to click it. Sometimes, and again, depending on the relationship, because this might be a new relationship. Some people, if I feel comfortable with them, I'll tap their, they're holding it and I'm poking it. You know what I mean? Other people, it's like, whoa, don't touch my thing. I will direct them. Go on ahead and open that up, and it will open up to whatever you're linking it to. And then I will ask them, how do you want to save this? And think about the options that you have at your disposal. But again, I always use this story, and I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but my wife gave me this book. It was like the love languages, right? And I'm reading through it, and I come to learn that my wife is a words of affirmation person. I'm an acts of service person. And typically we like to express things in the way we want to receive them, right? So here I am doing all these acts of service, like, oh, I just dug up the whole garden and got it ready for spring and spending 8 hours in the yard. And my wife comes out and, she expresses in her love language, thanks, honey, I love you, full stop. And I'm like, oh, my 8 hours of effort just yielded 4 words of confirmation. You know what I mean? When we look at it in terms of the individual we're interacting with, we want to think of how they want to receive. Because if we do it in the way they receive, another good example of this is a communication. I had read this story about a grandpa who joins an online gaming community so that he can instant message through the game with his grandson, because that's where his grandson was at. So when I ask somebody, how do you want to save this information so that you can come back to it in the future? I'm going to give them the variety of options. You want to save it to your home screen so that I'm just one click away. It's like having me as an app on your phone. Then you hold down the share, you scroll down through those pop-up options and you hit save to home screen, just like you would save any website. Now, there are pros and cons to that. But again, if that's the way they want to receive it, I like to go through the options, sort of highlight the pros. And one of those options is to download the app and save it to the card index. And then I can say, like, especially if it's important, that way, anytime I update the card in the future, you'll get a little notification that there have been changes made, and you can easily come back to it. That way you can find it if you ever need to refer me business, and you can reshare it out. Sure, they can reshare the one on their home screen. They open it up, they copy the URL, they send it out. Also, the 3 big options that I typically will go through: post share. Anna, thanks for viewing my card. How would you like to save this for future reference? You can add it to your phone contacts. So that way, when you come back, I'm in your contacts, and you can come back and view this card at any time. Do you want to add me like an app to your phone screen? And I can show you how to do that right now. All of these are in-person scenarios, right? Because I'm there talking or coaching them through that. Or third, you can get the app completely free. Again, I'm not trying to sell them at that time. The goal, what is the goal at that moment in time? The goal is to get them to save my card. You can download the app for free and save me to the card index. And that way, if I update my card in the future, you'll get notified. If you want to share me out, you have easy access to my card. You can create your own digital business card for free on this solution and share that out as well. And you can collect everybody's card in one location. Now I'm sort of giving them the 3 options, but the option I want them to take, I'm sort of value stacking, as Jeff would talk about on that. And then I'm going to leave the choice up to them. Again, it's a sorting business, not a convincing business. I tried my best to say, go down this path of getting the app. Now, there are times where they're not looking at my card, but we're talking about technology and I'm talking about the app. Then I'm going to position them, get the app, get the app, get the app for these types of reasons. That's when I go from promoting myself or my brand or my business using Shuffle to becoming an ambassador of Elify and trying to motivate them to download the app themselves.
Okay. When they save it to their phone, are they saving your card or just your name, address, and phone number or whatever?
This is a great question. So the card is a web page. We have to be very clear on that. It's a landing page. We just call them cards because we take a mobile first approach on it. So they're mobile optimized landing pages. When they are saving that to their phone, they will save your contact information, just like it's called a VCF file. It's the same file that if somebody shared a contact to you, you're downloading a VCF. So it'll save things like your name, first and last, your phone number, your email address, your address, whatever those elements are that are on the card. In addition, it will save the card link back to that card so that if they go to you in the contacts and view your contact, the link back to your card is within that contact profile.
Okay, I'll have to test that one out. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. And I could, let's do this really quick. I think I can do it. I'm going to share my screen. I might take me a second to reshare the next step, but Anna, what we're talking about is this card has information on it, right? It's got Doug's first and last name on it. It's got his title. It's got the company. And we can see it's got ways to contact him. So if we were downloading this to our contacts on our phone, the expectation is we'd have these things. And then lastly, we'd have a link back to the card for future reference. All of that's accessed on this template with this little add me as a contact. So they click on that. And again, here's that easy way when I say, how do you want to save this? One path is going to the card index. The other path is going to the phone contacts. I'm going to click on phone contacts. You'll see it created a little file down here, VCF file. That's the same file that most of the carriers use, whether it's iPhone, whether it's Android. That's the contact profile. If I click on that and open it up, it didn't open it up per se in my contacts. I'm going to share my screen because you guys can't see that, but here, share. This is what it brings back up in this case. This is for iOS contacts, right? First name, last name, title, company, phone, email, address, and then it put work. We're actually redoing that so it'll go to web. It'll say web instead of work, and it'll be the link back to the card. So that's what gets saved to their contacts on their phone. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And I encourage everybody, as part of the preparation and practice that you do as a Shuffle user, as a Tap user, play around with it, practice it. It's okay to save your own information to your own contacts to see what it looks like and familiarize yourself with what's going to be displayed there. James, go ahead. You had your hand up.
Well, I might put it back down because you done stole a lot of my wording already, AR. When Andy was asking a question about how do we get people to, what do we get them to save as, I asked this question, well, Anna, are you a community influencer? Are you a connector? Are you a person that's actually giving my friends information all the time? Well, yeah. Well, one of the things about the app itself is you're able to take all the friends who will own our system and will be on the system and share their card instantly around everybody. Instead of having that giant card index you carry around or your wallet full of those cards and say, make a copy of this or hopefully have one with me, you can digitally send that card to them right now. So when you save my card, you can save it on the app or you can save it to your phone. As ERA alluded to, the benefit that if you save my card with the app, if my phone number changed, address changed, my company changed, what you're saying somebody is the correct information, not the last contact that you had with them.
Yeah.
You know what? That makes sense to me, James, because I use a great example. How do you spell my last name? Flower. No, it's Flowers. People always mess up my last name with leaving an S out. So I don't want to mess up when I share your information because I'm always out and about meeting people. But if I don't have your card on me and I'm doing the pocket check, I can't share information. That could be the $1 billion client that you lose versus if I have your number saved on the card index, I just made you a possible $1 billion connection. That's what I was going to say for my statement. My question that I would say to ER, because we're learning a lot of things, is I learned about adding the home app. That was excellent, but I want to be able to say, you know what, guys?
I turned this down. I was just listening to a recording here. I thought I could get out. So how are you doing?
Okay, it wasn't me. So my question I have is like, you know what? We have all of this great technology, and when I want to show somebody, hey, let me just make this quick, fast, and hurry, how this can go. What is the short 30-second overview that is going to entice you to say, hey, tell me more about that? I think we all have that problem sometimes. We're so energetic or energized about the company, but not selling. But what is a short 30-second energizing way I can tell you about the company so I make you want to talk more about it? Back to you.
Yep. And James, first of all, thanks for the additional stuff on Anna's question. Again, asking them, are you an influencer? Are you somebody who refers a lot of business? That can direct them to the value of the card index and the value of them creating their own digital card and sharing it back so you can refer each other business. You want to be it to be reciprocal. So be asking those questions is the main point there. James, when you're talking about the value proposition or the 30-second elevator pitch, the 3 words that I keep in the back of my mind, and again, we don't want to give you something canned where when you stand up, it sounds like you're reading a script. Hi, I'm ER with LFI. You know what I mean? Like you want to have, this is how I say the value of what I have. I think about 3 words all the time: marketing, networking, and referring. And then I think about my language around those, right? We help businesses increase their revenue by digitizing their marketing, their networking, and their referring. Do you do any marketing in your business? Do you do any networking to find customers? Do you want people to refer you business? Great, I can talk about our solution in some of the areas. And then you can go down those veins. Again, it's about personalization. As all of us know, Shuffle is like a Swiss Army knife. But I don't want to start talking to you about QR codes or campaign tracking or, follow-up alerts if the only thing you're interested in is marketing. Instead, I want to curate the conversation to the person I'm interacting with, and I'm going to focus on the marketing. I love marketing because our platform is like an art gallery and we allow you to hang your art on the walls. I use that analogy all the time. You create whatever you want to share out with people, very simple, mobile optimized with measurability. You could market yourself with a digital business card, right? But I'm keeping that vein of marketing. The 10-second or 30-second pitch isn't to explain everything. It's to elicit somebody to be like, I just heard a keyword that I want to come back and have that person elaborate. Hey, ER, when you stood up and talked about marketing, networking, and referring business and going digital, that really sparked something. I know that that's a gap in my business. Can you tell me a little bit more? Sure, James, what are you interested in? Or what's more important to you? Your marketing, your networking, or generating referral? Well, ER, all of those are important, but generating referrals and referring business is extremely important to me. Great. How would you like to empower every single customer to be able to share or reshare your information? Let me show you how we do that on this system. And you can start to, weave in to the conversation. So I always keep in the back of my mind when it's like, hey, we're going to introduce ourselves and give this 30-second pitch. One, I'm listening to what other people are saying in the room because they're usually saying, this is who I am, this is what I do. You know what I mean? And I'm maybe even thinking about how I might change or position my 30-second pitch to appeal to the largest group in that audience. But it typically falls within the marketing, networking, and referring. Now, if I'm going into a business one where it's opportunity seekers, right, and they're all talking about their side hustles and that they do this and that and all those other things, that might make me want to think, well, and we help entrepreneurs with a business in a box so that they can become affiliate marketers, in less than 5 minutes. Whoa, really? Yeah. If you've never made $1 online, we can show you how you can become a Shuffle affiliate or an ambassador and start earning money immediately. And then, and again, then you're going down that vein. But typically it's product focused. Sometimes if it's in person versus virtual, right? If we were all going through a virtual roundtable of introducing ourselves, giving our 30-second pitch, I wouldn't focus so much on tap. But if we're in person, I might say, you want to share or network and refer in a simple way. We offer these NFC products. I hope that helps, James. I know it's not this is exactly what you say within your 30 seconds. And instead, I would encourage everybody to think about your story and your experience. I know if Jeff was on the call today, that's what he'd be talking about. He'd be like, what is your story? Is that part of your 30-second pitch? Help? Clear as mud?
That was perfect.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, tips, tricks, or how-tos anybody has?
Do we have time for you to go through someone starting to use Tab?
Yes. Real quick, Jan, I saw your hand go up. Go on ahead, unmute yourself and join the conversation. Thanks for raising your hand. And Jan, if you can hear me, you're still muted. Hopefully you're seeing that. Did we get you? There we are. Hey, Jan.
Okay, hi, how you doing? Sorry.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was driving and I couldn't do 4 things at once.
Oh, drive safe, please.
Okay.
Kelly was in her car too. Everybody who's driving, drive safe. It blows my mind that you guys join these calls when you're in your car. But thanks for joining.
Okay, well, question. I know we just discussed this, but I just wanted to circle back to the tracking because I just want to be clear that what I'm sending is being tracked.
Yep.
So how do I verify that is happening? Is there anything I have to do on my end once
Well,
I create that link?
Not once you create the link. The thing you do on your end is create the link. So a thing that we can all do before we send a link is to understand a little bit about Shuffle's linking structure. I'll do that for everybody on this call. It's a little bit technical, but it is not insurmountable. And I'm going to show it to you guys right now. And I'm going to try and keep it at a first grade level for everybody. So if I go above, if you see me going into second grade, guys, like ring me in. Every page on the internet has a URL, okay? And so I'm looking at this card link and I'll see a URL. It says lfi.com/VBC, right? Virtual business card / and this thing at the end of the URL, in our mind, you don't have to remember this. Again, I'm just educating everybody for your own edification as you look at what you're sharing out. That is the card ID. Okay, now what I want to call out is when you go to generate a link, Jan, and again, I'm sharing my screen, so hopefully you can see this. Here's my business card that we created at the start of today's training. If I go to hit share the card and I'm sharing to one of my existing contacts, like Guy here, I'm selecting Guy, and I'm going to send it to him. I don't know. Anyway, I'll just show the link. You'll see the link, and I'm going to copy it right here, right? So we can copy the link, and I'm going to go right up to where we had that other card, and I'm going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to paste in the new link. Now, what you guys are going to notice is these two cards, they look the exact same. This is what I was talking about earlier, where how important is tracking to you. One has no tracking. It is just pointing to the card. The other one has tracking. And again, I'm going to highlight the card link information on here. That's where you have that 47X5. Again, these are just random characters for privacy and security, right? So that people can't guess cards out there. When I go to the other one, so it ends in PLL. When I open the other one, you'll see that exact same link. All of this is the same, but now we're seeing a question mark and a T equals and some additional data. So the biggest thing you can look for, first grade level, Jan, is when you look at the link that you're sharing with people, if you see a little question mark T equals, that's tracking. Think of the T equals as tracking equals. Okay, if you don't, if you are looking at what you're pasting in and there's no, essentially question mark T equals with a bunch of gobbledygook. If that's not on there, then you will not have tracking. So we did it where this card is what we're sharing to Guy. So we'll have an alert on the system that Guy viewed the card. In addition, we talked about a campaign link. So we'll go to the campaigns. We have that tracking for online sharing. You can see the URLs right up here. Again, both campaigns and contact links always have this last little bit, T equals, and some information. I'm going to copy this link. And I'm trying to drive the point home for everybody and make it as simple as possible, because this is what the power of the internet is. It's a bunch of links that we see all the time that we don't type in, but that provide whoever's sharing those links with a lot of information if they've set them up right. So you can see right here, 3 of the same card. They're all pointing to the same card. In fact, we can see it's the same card because we know it ends in PLL right there. So when we look at the URL, there's our same card information, PLL. There's our same card information, PLL. Okay. But one of these is tracking to Guy, the contact I shared it with. The other is tracking to my online campaign. But I don't need to even know that. If I just see that it has the T equals, Jan, I know that it has tracking. Again, T equals tracking is the good rule of thumb. I hope that helps everybody. I hope I didn't create confusion, but if you're trying to validate really quickly, hey, I've got my link, I'm getting ready to share it. Is it going to give me some tracking? Oh yeah, it has a T in there. I feel good. T equals tracking. If you don't see the T, that's your reminder. No T, no tracking. I'm going to jump back into my system, generate a link that does have tracking and send that. Make sense?
Okay, so simply by just putting your company's URL in there is not going to guarantee tracking. So that's what I heard today. So that's new.
Correct.
Yeah.
What I would end up doing, Jan, in that case, and then Ruben, I'll open it up to you as well. Let me jump back over here. I'll show you what I'm talking about, okay? What I would end up doing if I wanted to link to company information is I would end up putting that link on the card itself. So we're going to go back into our free business card. We're going to edit it. We're going to come down under the info section for that card. And remember, we removed the button off this card, no button, right? Maybe I don't want a video, but I do want a button. So I'll come in and I'll remove the video. And you can see button title, button link. And I'll put in like, visit my website. And then I'll put my link to my website. Why? I'll get tracking when they come to my card, and they'll still be able to get to my website. And then I put in, mysite.com or whatever your site is. I hope that helps, Jan. But that way you can just send people to your website. Also, another scenario that this could be covering, and again, I don't want to blast everybody with information, but if you look at the chat, you can see AnnaMBrooks.com. That is Anna's website, but she is forwarding that website to a trackable link. Right. So there is the capability to do that, where she wants to say, I'm going to tell you what you put in, or I'm going to make it look pretty and have my own personal URL, but I'm still going to point it to a card. And in that case, she's going to point it to a card that has the T equals in it so that she can say, oh, look, this is the number of people that typed in AnnaMBrooks.com, and now I know how many people are typing that in. So again, if that was confusing, I'm happy to get more granular or try to be more simple in the explanation of that. But the key on all of your links, if you see a T, T equals, you've got tracking. If you've got your own vanity URL that you're redirecting, make sure you're redirecting it to something with tracking. If you want to put a website on it, put it on a card so that you get tracking, etc. Okay. Ruben, thanks for your patience. Go ahead. And Jan, if you have any more questions, please feel free or reach out to me directly. Again, everybody, I'm going to post a link in the chat. That's my digital business card. Now that you know the secret, you can see that that has a T equals. So I track everybody who reaches out or gets this information through Zoom. That's my Zoom campaign link.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Jan. Go ahead, Ruben.
And if you want to customize that URL, there's bit.ly.com.
Yep.
Guys, I would definitely, it's free. I would learn about it. And that way, when you send someone a text, it's not a whole bunch of gibbly gob. It's iloveyou.com.
Yep.
Whatever that is. I mean, they really can, they'll open that up, guaranteed.
Yep. Again, think about the recipient and what their experience is going to be. If you're writing an email, and I don't know if you guys have ever written an email where you can underline a word and link it to a website, it still says click here. It doesn't show the long string URL. So some places and some delivery methods, the URL is not going to matter because somebody's going to click it. They're not typing it in. But if you gave somebody a piece of paper that said, you know, www.mylongestURL in the entire whole wide world and it takes forever to type in.com, they're not going to remember it or type it in, trust me, right? But if you put that on a button that they don't even see what it links to, they'll hit the button all day long and go to that URL. So be aware of how that recipient is experiencing what you're sharing with them. To Ruben's point, if they're going to see the URL, or maybe you're texting it to them and you want it to look less spammy or long, you can clean it up and you can use third-party solutions like Bitly to do that. No different than Anna going into some domain registrar. It could be GoDaddy, it could be DirectNick, any of these ones, buying a domain name and redirecting that domain name to a shuffle card. She cleaned up her long, you know, the link I just posted in there is long. She cleaned that up by redirecting it from annambrooks.com. But these are all important factors that we want to be thinking about because we just created something worth sharing. Now we want to share it out and we want to make sure people are clicking on it and opening it up. And so there is this link bias, if you will, subconsciously that we all have, where we've been on the internet long enough to know when things are spammy. Trust me, if you've ever been on the web and you've searched for something, you see an Amazon link, open that thing up and give it a look. It's like they just pasted Moby Dick into the URL. It just goes on and on and on. And it doesn't just have T equals, it has A equals and B equals and C equals. Those are all data fields that they're passing through the domain name, guys. This is, it's technical and beyond what you guys really need to know. But if you want to know it, that's how the mechanics of it work. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes left. I'm going to jump in and I'm just going to go through quickly. If you are a person who's built a card and we talked about sharing and you're a person who's going to be sharing in real life, then let's talk briefly about this thing, tap, okay? Maybe you've gotten a tap in the mail. Maybe you just ordered one and it's on its way. Maybe you've had one sitting on your desk and you haven't taken an opportunity to program it. We're going to program it right now, or I'm going to walk you through the steps of programming it right now, okay? This one, for those of you who can see, and because of how Zoom works, if I hold it up here, it's going to go blurry. So I'll get up and share this really closely. You can see I've got a little serial number. In this case, this is 000000004. Okay. When you are on your Shuffle account, and I'm going to log back into Doug's because this is Doug's demo tap card here. Under your name on the desktop version, you will see My Tap Tech. For those of you who are on the mobile app, just wait a second. We'll be doing the mobile app programming of this. You want to know the mobile app because when you're sitting in your car going, how do I change this to link to the card I want to link it to? You'll only have your device to do it. So Anna, you can see on yours, you've got your card, you've got your serial number. When you go into your account and you click on My Tap Tech, guess what? All of the cards, assuming you might have more than one, right? All of the cards are going to show up under your My Tap Tech. And you can see it shows what type of card it is. These are LFI branded cards, right? So that's why they say LFI. The serial numbers, there's 17, there's 004, there's 574. Again, there's just a bunch of different serial numbers out there. The one we're talking about that I held up was this one. So if I want to program this card, I just go to My Tap Tech and I'm looking for the right serial number. For many of us, you only have one serial number. But the more tap cards you get, right, James? Now you've got 15 of them in your account. You know what I mean? So you'll see all of those tap cards listed. Then Guys, you don't even have to have the card with you to program it. You just have to go in and select what card you want to program. And there's a little edit button here and you program it. You can enter the URL. In this case, you can see it's a tap card. It's test app, right? So I'm doing some testing here. But if I wanted to grab a different digital business card, maybe it's the new free card we just created, free business card. I select that. You can see it will load in the URL. Make sense? Get rid of that. Sorry, I'm testing some stuff, guys. But there it is. Now you can see I don't have that question mark T equals. So if you want tracking for your tap, now the tap will do tap tracking. How many times have you tapped? But if you want to have different tracking on your card, then you're going to want to go and grab that URL from one of your cards. A great trick here, if you're on your computer, open it up in a different tab. You guys can use Shuffle that you're logged into in two different areas. So if you want to jump back and forth, go in here. Let's create our campaign. We're going to add a new campaign. You guys can add unlimited campaigns, and we'll say this is tap sharing. We're going to hit create. Now we've got a trackable link, right? There's our question mark T equals on the end, and we're going to copy that link. Guys, when you're in your tap tech programming your serial numbers, you can put any URL. We've made it easy for you to find the cards here by your digital card selection. But if you have different campaigns, use the right URL and check that. Now that I'm seeing it's T equals, it's saved. And now it will be saved for that serial number, guys. Likewise, so let's go through it. We're going to go through a quick example here, and then I'll jump back and share, and then we'll do it on the mobile side. We'll call it a day here on Tech Tuesday. Tap card, taps the phone. The link shows up. You guys are seeing that. I'm going to tap on the link. Open it with my face here. And voila, our free business card shows up. Okay, and it's the tracking. So you saw some alerts pop down. It told me that my tap card 004 just had a tap, and it told me my tap sharing campaign just had a view. So I got double tracking because I put in that T equals. Okay. If I don't want this to go to a card, but I want it to go to my website or anything else, guys, remember, this is your tap card. You can link it to whatever you want to link it to. I'm going to open back up our tap editor, right? We can come back to that serial number and go in here. Maybe we just want it to go to Google. And again, pick your website here and we'll hit save. Oops. It's going to want the HTTP. Hit save. Guys, now my tap card links to Google. You can reprogram your tap card an unlimited number of times. So here I am here. I'm going to tap my card. Hopefully we'll get a link to pop up here. There's the link. I'm going to tap on that link. And guys, where's it going? It goes to Google now. Okay, in closing, I want to put it back to my Shuffle card here. And I'm driving to the event. And I get in the car and I'm waiting in the parking lot. And now I'm all nervous because I just tapped it to test and it's going to Google. And I go, oh no, I don't want to send people to Google at the event. I want to send them to my business card. So let's go to back in here and I'm going to share now our phone. Again, this is how do we program our tap. We're going to come in here. I'm going to share my phone screen with you guys. Guys, oh no, I just tapped it and we're going to Google. What do we do? Right, let's get back to all of our apps. We're going to launch Shuffle here. We're in Doug Baldwin's account. As you guys saw, the more option is like clicking on the thing, and there's the tap tools, just like what we saw on the desktop version. We're going to click on that. And instead of giving us our cards, because we have our card with us, it's going to ask us, do you want to scan the QR code or tap the card to recognize which one you want to program? So I'm going to hit tap it. It taps it. Now it says enter the URL, just like we saw on the web. That's where I typed in Google. But in this case, I'm going to select from one of my digital business cards. Right? We had that new card we just created. We'll put that in and we'll hit save. Now, remember, if you saw this and noticed it went pretty fast, I didn't have the T equals there. I just put in the quick one from the digital business card selector. If I want to put in my campaign, I can come back to my cards. Can always go back down to that card and I can go to the campaigns. Was that the card I was doing? 1 second. Now I'm going too quick. How do I have these sorted? Let's just do my construction card because I know I have some campaigns there. I'm going to go to the campaigns and I'm going to say, maybe I'm going to this trade show and I'm going to be using my tap. I'll click on that and that's where I'll copy that link, guys. You see, I'm just clicking copy link. And then I'll go into my tap tools. Tap it. And I'll paste that link in. And now I've got the T equals. And I'll hit done. And I'll hit save. Okay, guys, that's it. That's programming it from your phone. That's programming it from the web. That's tracking the card and not tracking the card. At the end of the day, you got to create something worth sharing. And then you have to find which way or which method you want to share it through. So hopefully everybody's got that down pat and they know it left and right. Practice it. You guys can reprogram the tap a million times over. So don't be afraid that you're going to write it wrong. You know, another good example, I know James was talking about examples on promoting LFI to other users. If you've got a tap card, you tap it and you put your information on their phone. Then you open up your system. You say, what's your website? You update and reprogram your tap. You say, hey, let me share that with you. And you tap it. And now their website goes on their phone. It's much easier for a person to visualize their own information in there when they're using it than anything else. Take care. Good to see you. So, guys.
Great. ER, that was great. And I like the vision. And again, this is recorded, right?
Yes. So this replay from the live will be on YouTube. If there's snippets, guys, on any of our trainings, on any of our videos, if there's 30 seconds that you like, feel free to chop that up if you need to. You know what I mean? But that last portion is going to cover tap programming.
Last 15 minutes, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
But that's, I mean, again, guys, my number one goal. This is so powerful if you learn how to use it and then use it, right? And then use it. We were at the event yesterday with James. Kathy was there, and it was just like a little mini pop-up networking event. And every single person connected with every single person there. Everybody got their tap cards set up at the event, and we all just walked around tapping our cards. And then the second step was for the save, because we were all shufflers. They just had to save to their card index. And now we all are in each other's phones, ready to be referred. That's the goal. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for an hour of your time, as always, on this Tech Tuesday. If you guys do have any questions that we didn't get covered, put them in the comments, okay, of this video, or join us for a future Tech Tuesday, and we'll get those questions answered. We want to cover a general topic like using tap like we did today. We want to cover specific topics from users. So if you have a specific topic, maybe you're hung up on how do I add more videos, or how do I add a link, or any of that type of stuff, join the call and we'll put that stuff together. We'll show and explain, or we'll do how to on doing it, because you guys will get out of this what you put into it. And we want to make sure you have everything at your disposal to put into it. So.
Hey, Ruben, if you go back and you clip this thing up for that tap section, share that with me, would you?
Oh yeah, the card.
Just the last 15 minutes of this particular video, the recording that we're doing.
Yeah, if I can learn how to splice it.
I also know, guys, if you go into YouTube and you hit share, in their share menu, you I don't know if it lets you download the splice or anything, but you can choose the starting point of the video that you share with. So you can always start it 3/4 of the way through or whatnot.
Oh, that's okay. I'll work on that.
Yeah, I want to do that for Susie and have it available for her while she's on the airplane.
Absolutely.
Learning how to do that.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, thank you again so much for your time. Thanks for this Tech Tuesday. We'll be back on for Thursday's roundtable and then Friday with the founders. So please join us for those things. Otherwise,